Hey, so I want to see if people, students specific, trust their common sense. Will you say you trust your common sense?
I guess.
Right?
Sure.
So first question, do you guys trust your common sense?
No.
No? I mean, that's what's kept
but
you
I'm
alive.
scared.
No, I mean, you should trust your common sense. But yeah, first question, do you trust your common sense?
I would say I do.
Yeah, right. We all should, right? Because that's what keeps us alive. So first question, do you trust your common sense?
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. So we're going to test to see if that's true. I have 3 very easy questions, multiple choice.
All right, let's see.
And the first one's the hardest, but then they get easier, and then we're going to see. All right,
Okay.
so I have 2 images here.
Yep.
And the reason I call them images is because one of them's a photograph and one of them's a painting. So I want to see if people can tell the difference.
I see no difference.
You see no difference? So if you had to pick out the photograph, which one would you say is a photograph? Or you would just guess, right? Would that be an honest answer?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
I'll
Would
guess this one.
you'll guess this?
Are you telling the truth? The one on the left.
May or may not be.
Can I flip it over? I think they're both photos.
Okay, that's fair enough.
If I had to guess, I would say this is the painting, but I think they're both.
Okay, that's an honest one.
I would guess this one's the painting.
Okay.
I was thinking that was a painting.
Okay. So the difference.
Photograph, one of them is a painting?
Yeah.
This is a photograph, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Just right off. Actually. Painting. I think this is a photograph.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
I'll say this is a painting.
Okay. Okay. So you think this is a photograph?
Yeah.
Okay. It was actually a trick question. They're both paintings. Oh yeah. So So I don't expect people to get this one. Obviously, it's impossible to tell, because they're so realistic. But there is 2 reasons why I asked this question. They have to do with common sense. The first reason is just believing someone opens the door to being deceived, right? Because if you believe me that one's a photograph, that can influence your choice, right? The second reason is if you want to determine something is real, an image is not good enough. Because if I show you an image of me flying or me like carrying an elephant, will you believe I could do those things? No, right? Because that defies physics, So if an image defies physics, we should throw the image away, So the next 2 actually have to do with physics, with water in specific. So can we agree once water is contained like in this bottle, it always seeks the lowest point? In other words, it always goes to the bottom because I could turn the bottle upside down, but water always goes down regardless of the orientation of the bottle. Right? So these next 2 actually have to do with physics. So again, you don't have to believe me because it's physics. Physics is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So it has to do with water. So can we agree once water is contained like in this bottle, it always seeks this lowest point. In other words, it always goes down. Because I could turn the bottle upside down, but water always goes down. That's a fact. So since we understand that fact about water, that it always seeks the bottom, I took 2 pictures, one like this and one upside down, and I painted the water blue with food coloring just to make it easier to see. But since we understand water always goes down, how I'm showing you these 2, which one is the one that I took upside down? Or which one is upside down of these 2? Which one's the one that I took upside down? Exactly, you got it. Yeah, because obviously the water can't stick to the top, right? I took one right side up and one upside down, the bottle. But since we understand water always seeks the lowest point.
I think this one's upside down.
Okay.
Your fingers like
okay. If we're looking at the water, that's what's going to
This could be the ceiling, not the floor, so I have no way of knowing.
If you're looking at the water's going to show you which one's upside down. If water always goes to the bottom of the bottle.
Not necessarily, because this could be the ceiling in this photo, and this could be the floor in this photo.
I know.
In other words, this could be the bottom here, and this could be the bottom here.
Exactly. So if we understand that, if we're looking at the water, how I'm showing you, then which one is upside down?
I'm saying it could be neither, it could be both. Or
okay, I'll tell you which one's, and I'll tell you why. Okay. This one's the one I'm showing you upside down because the water can't stick to the top of the bottle. Mm-hmm. I took this one holding it up to the ceiling, like you said.
Okay. Yeah.
So in this one, I just took it right side up, like on the table, like this. So
but if the floor also had the same look, they could have both been right side up.
They could have, but it wasn't because of the water. The water shows you.
I'm saying that the water won't show me anything because I'm saying that the floor and the ceiling can both look the same.
Well, exactly. So the floor and the ceiling won't tell you anything because they could both look the same.
Yeah.
What's not going to be the same is the water if you're actually holding one upside down.
But I'm saying that these photos could both be right side up though.
Well, not if the water in the bottle is on top of the bottle. I would say any picture you show me of water sticking to the top of a water bottle, I would say that image was taken upside down. Simply because nobody will be able to make this water stick to the top and have air underneath.
Oh, what do you mean? Like, why wouldn't this be?
Well, that's because you turned the bottle upside down.
So you're saying...
So water still only has one direction, is my point.
You're saying with the bottle right side up, the water can never be on this half.
Exactly. With the bottle right side up...
Wait. Let me see these photos. I want to think about that.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, since we understand water always goes to the bottom or seeks.
This is upside down.
There you go. You got it. Yeah, I took it like that because the water can't stick to the top of the bottle. So you got it. So you do trust your common sense.
Yeah, I can see where somebody could overthink that.
A lot of people
I
do.
almost did. I almost did.
Yeah. No.
That was pretty obvious.
Especially because of the first question is a trick
They start
question.
thinking too hard.
Yeah. But you got it. The only way to do it is if you take it upside down, like I did right here. But
I see. That's cool. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty simple thing, you know, pretty simple experiment you could do yourself. So this last question is even easier. You know, I'm pretty sure you're not going to get confused, but have you ever heard of water always finds its level?
Yeah.
Yeah? So, you know, that's why, you know, these are, what would be another word for level? If you had to use a different word.
Interesting.
What could be another word for level? I mean, balance was a good one. You know, like one of these, you know, what could be another word? Balance is a good one, right? What could be another word for level?
Level?
Level. So you ever seen one of these, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What do they use these for?
To measure the level. Or
Measure the,
like even,
so
yeah.
to make sure it's even, that's a good word for level. I mean, what do they use these in construction for?
Yeah, I mean, they use it to see its level, but I'm just trying to think.
Okay.
Objective to like to the Earth's core, what's the relation?
Well, what's another word for level if we had to use a different word? Like just a simple term.
I guess like even, but
Even's a good one.
even, but that's like, yeah, it's not really precise, but yeah.
Okay,
sure.
but I mean, if you look up the definition for level right now on your phone, it's going to tell you it's a horizontal line or a horizontal surface. That's what level means. I mean, as we know it, you know, if you go to any pool, you know, water, you know, once contained, it always finds its level. That's what water does.
Yeah.
You know, so could we agree horizontal? You know, that's a proper definition for level, you know, because that's what water always does. That's why they use these in construction, you know. So since we understand that water always finds its level as well, this one's the easiest, by the way. Which one of these two represents level as we know it when it comes to the water? A or B?
Maybe A.
A or B?
A.
Okay, yeah, fair enough, yeah. Would you agree, or yeah, it's obvious, right? Which one of these two represents level as we know it? A or B when we're looking at the water?
So
Which one represents level?
this one.
Yeah, that's the obvious one. I mean, hey, that's the obvious one, obviously, because that's the one that's level. So the real reason I do this is because over 95% of the population, including myself and maybe you, have been tricked to believing this is what level means, even though we know it's this. You guys want to know how we were tricked? Do you guys believe the Earth is a ball?
Yeah.
Right? So NASA in specific, they claim to have satellites orbiting the Earth, right? So they need to know the radius of orbit. So they need to know the radius of the Earth if they're supposedly going around it. So they do tell us the radius of the Earth is 3,959 miles, which gives us a circumference of 24,901. So that means there needs to be curvature every mile. So the first mile, there's an 8-inch drop. Second mile is a 32-inch. And by the third mile, there should be 6 feet of curvature. And every mile, it just keeps increasing. So by 10 miles, there should be 66 feet of curvature.
So if this image had, oh, it is by miles.
Yeah. So here's the thing though, if we actually went out in nature like a giant lake that was miles across to physically measure for this curvature, we understand that water is going to be parallel to any horizontal or level structure above it.
Right, because water's never like that.
Exactly,
That
especially if you go to a lake.
I'm not gonna lie, I was definitely looking at this bottle and I was like, it's flat there, so it should.
Exactly, no, and it doesn't change. The people would say, oh, it's the scale, right, or distance, right? So again, even if it was true, there's lakes that are over 20 miles across, you know, so that curvature should be measurable in these lakes, in every lake on Earth and the oceans. But this will be the #1 experiment to debunk the globe, a physical measurement of the Earth.
Well, B, because it's going to the Earth's core.
Okay, so it leads me to this next point. So you believe the Earth is a ball then, right? So you believe that the Earth is curving 8 inches per mile square, and at 3 miles, the surface of water bends? You think? Yeah, so okay. So in my opinion, if we go to any lake on Earth, the surface of water is going to be horizontal. It's going to be level. If you ask me.
It'll be incrementally off.
Okay.
But
okay. Okay. Incrementally meaning
Like
this
a
is
extreme version of that. But
right.
yeah.
Right. So let me just give you so NASA in specific, they claim to have satellites orbiting the Earth. So they need to know the radius of orbit. So they need to know the radius of the Earth. So they do tell us the radius of the Earth because they're supposedly going around it. And the radius of the Earth is 3,159 miles, which means there has to be curvature every mile, and every mile it increases. So the first mile there's an 8-inch drop. Second mile, 32 inches. By the third mile, there should be 6 feet of curvature. And that's what this graph will represent.
Okay.
But in 10 miles, there should be 66 feet of curvature. So we have lakes on Earth, you know, anywhere on Earth that are over 10 miles long, you know, easily.
Yeah.
So we should be able to physically measure this curvature. But in my opinion, if we were to actually physically measure a lake, like the surface of the water, you know, practically like this, a physical measurement, the water is going to show us, if anything, if we built the level structure straight or not. So I would say the surface of the water is 100% horizontal always, and a physical measurement will show that. So if I was to ask you, what's the number one proof or reason that makes you believe that the Earth is a ball?
That the what?
That the Earth is a ball?
Well, satellites.
Satellite imagery?
And I saw online that there was an experiment
Okay.
that flat earthers did.
Okay.
About
I try to stay away from that word, flat earther,
yeah.
because it's a label that they're using right now to discredit anyone talking about this. But yeah, you were saying that, what's the experiment about?
So like, if it truly was curved, about like certain miles, the light would.
Okay.
The light would.
So you're talking about a laser experiment that they did over a distance,
yeah, I
right?
believe it's something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So there's actually a documentary on Netflix about, they do electric, I would call it a mockumentary. So they're deliberately pushing laser experiments on the mainstream. And the reason why is because what happens if I shine a laser through water? Will that laser go straight?
I believe so.
You think it will go straight? It will happen. You know what will happen? Refraction will happen. So it's gonna look like it's bending the light, because water. When you shine anything through water, it refracts it. So the air is like moisture. So whenever we shine a laser through the air, there's always gonna be refraction. So a laser experiment is always gonna be inconclusive. So it's never gonna give you a conclusive answer because there's gonna be refraction always. If I was to ask you guys, sorry about that. So if I was to ask you guys, what's the number one proof or reasons? Thank you. That makes you believe that the Earth is a ball. What would be the number one reason or proof? Images. I'm glad you call them images too.
I don't know. Not gravity. I guess the horizon, maybe.
The horizon. Okay.
Well, my answer won't be.
Practical.
Well, I would just say like it's a good question. I mean, I would just say I guess I've seen it in terms of how like the Earth's like the Earth's core drags things to it. I mean, I guess what you're saying, like a ball is maybe not like the right term because the Earth isn't a ball. It's
You're
like,
saying
it's not a
oblate sphere, an
Yeah.
oblate spheroid, right? So
Yeah.
here's the thing about an oblate spheroid, because in mathematics they try to redefine the word level to mean equal distance from the center to the surface or outer circumference of a sphere. That's what level means in mathematics to defend the globe. That's how they redefined it. Equal distance, right? So if you have 10 feet above sea level here and 10 feet above sea level here, they're saying that that's on the same level because it's equal distance to the center, right? 10 feet from the... What I'm saying is that people that claim that it's an oblate spheroid contradicts that claim of level, because that definition of level would mean that the Earth is a perfect sphere.
That's true.
So to claim that it's an oblate spheroid and to also claim that level means equal distance from the surface, it's a contradiction on its own. But again, even if it was an oblate spheroid or a sphere, that water's not going to show us not even an inch of curvature regardless of the distance. So there should be curvature every mile, that's my point, and every mile increasing. So you could say the Earth is twice the size they're telling us, half of this curvature should still be there. You know what I'm saying? And my point is not even an inch will be there, if we actually went out and practically measured the surface of a lake.
Interesting.
Yeah, so a physical measurement, we don't have to worry about refraction. So if water is truly bending every lake on Earth and the oceans, then 8 inches per mile square is the curvature that should be displayed by all the surfaces of the Earth, of the water. You know what I'm saying? So what do you think? You think it's possible that maybe we're lied to, or are you not? Are you pretty set?
There's always gonna be a different opinion.
Right. I would say it's not an opinion. It's more, an understanding of how water behaves.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like in this cup, always finds its level. Water always finds its level. So you'll never see an experiment or an observation where the surface of water, especially, when we're talking miles, it's bending. You know what I'm saying? And again, even if it was, we should be able to physically measure that. Like a ruler, and literally with a ruler, literally, you know what I'm saying? We should be able to measure that dip of the Earth if it's truly a sphere, you know what I'm saying? So I do have some information that you can take, because it is being censored. That's one of the main reasons why I'm out here talking to people, because if you go out on your own and try to research this, you're going to get nothing but just ridicule and just experts supposedly just dismissing it. So here, I'll give you some info you could take, and you can use this to cross-reference. Don't believe anything I'm saying. Understand physics, understand, and just trust your common sense, you know what I'm saying? So... yeah. You have any questions before you go? Or? No? All right.
Good.
Okay. Thanks for talking to me, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good one. So I'm glad NASA doesn't call them photographs, and for a reason, because they actually Photoshop. So that's why they call them images. And now if you guys...
When you look at the sky,
Right.
it looks like a sphere.
Oh, so that actually has to do with perspective. So because I don't know if you've heard of celestial navigation, how they use the stars to navigate and triangulation. Has to do with perspective and how we see objects in the sky. It has nothing to do with curvature of the Earth. It's just how we see everything. We see everything kind of like in pyramid shape.
Riley's Hawaiian.
Oh, she's Hawaiian?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see.
Navigation by the stars.
Yeah. So I do have some information if you guys want to take to cross-reference because it is being censored. But I mean, if you don't want to take it, I understand. You know.
No, that was awesome.
Okay, man. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the chat. All right, you guys have a good one. I'm glad you brought up the horizon. So I do have some images of the horizon. They're photographs, but again, you don't have to take my word for them. But these are taken with a standard lens because I don't know if you knew GoPros with the fisheye lens they warp the image, right? So these are standard cameras. So how would you describe the horizon? Like, how would you describe it?
It's clearly flat in the
Yeah,
picture.
I would say it's horizontal, and I would say that's where the word horizon comes from the word horizontal. So another thing about the horizon is they'll claim that, oh, the horizon is the curve of the Earth, right? That's why you can't see past it, right? So if that was true, if that was truly the curvature of the Earth that starts to go down, the higher we elevate, the more and more we should look down on the horizon, but nobody ever looks down at the horizon. The horizon always rises with you, and it's because the horizon is just the limit of perspective. So it's the vanishing point of how far we could see.
You're saying Earth is flat? Is that what you're trying to get at?
Basically, but I know Flat Earth has a bad, reputation online right now, especially. So I try to stay away from Flat Earth.
Do you think flat earthers are thinking too much, maybe?
So there is a lot of controlled opposition. So a lot of Flat Earth groups that will talk nonsense as well.
As there always do with any group.
Exactly. Any group is going to have both sides, even control, I would say, as well, especially if they're trying to control information, which, in my opinion, this is the number one controlled subject online right now. It's the number one censored, and that's the way they're controlling it. They're controlling it by having a bunch of flat earth groups talk about a bunch of nonsense so that if people come across the subject, they'll hear these crazy flat earthers, because some of them are crazy, I'm not gonna lie. They'll talk bullshit theories too. Like, I stay away from theories. I stick with what's practical,
facts, okay.
like cold hard facts, exactly, physics. So yeah, there's a lot of misrepresentation, and again, flat earthers, that's just a label to label it. I'm just a realist, if anything. I'm just the one person that came across this. I'm not part of any group. I'm just being by myself. And the reason why I'm out here is it's actually being censored since like 2019. So if you go on Google or YouTube, all the algorithms have been changed so that anybody that's genuine like me talking about this, you'll never come across it. You'll get just Neil deGrasse. You know who Neil deGrasse Tyson is, right?
Yeah.
So all these so-called experts, I would say they're just expert liars. So they are experts, but not in science. You're just expert liars. So here's another thing real quick. The only place you're ever going to see curvature, like I said, is through GoPro cameras that curve horizons like this, or through CGI cartoons like this. So all the images they're showing us from outer space, they're admitting they're not photographs. They call them images, and they're all photoshopped.
What do you think
basically.
the shape of the Earth is like?
So the surface is 100% level. Can anybody get out of the Earth to see the hole? I don't think that's possible. Why? Because we have air pressure here, right? So the fact that we have air pressure means that the air is trying to escape, meaning the only way to have air pressure is to have a container that's completely sealed. So if you want to have a higher pressure than the air pressure we have here, you need a container that's completely sealed, like a cylinder, and then you add air in it. Sure, like a ball, for example, like a soccer ball or a basketball. Those have like 39 psi. Out here, supposedly like 14.7 psi. My point is, if Earth has pressure, it's being physically contained somehow. So I don't think anybody can leave the Earth to see it as a whole.
So we will never know what the Earth is shaped like?
As a whole, I don't think so. So
Do you have any idea, like if I were to ask you to give me like a 3D model, what do you think?
A lot of people are trying to get like a model of the flat Earth, right? But it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. So I think it could be more like a realm. So a realm. But to be honest, it could.
You think it's endless?
Some people think that. If I'm being honest, I don't know. I'm okay with not knowing. A lot of people are not comfortable with that. To just say I don't know. I'm comfortable.
Humans are naturally going to try to fill it.
Exactly, and it's like kind of like an ego thing, if you ask me, that people just want to know, But there's just some things about this place that we just don't know, and whether there is a truth to be found out, I don't know. Because a lot of people will talk about the dome theory. I don't know if you heard of the dome. I would say that's a more scientific theory than outer space, because they're trying to tell us that outer space is a negative pressure system next to the Earth's pressure without a solid barrier. They're trying to tell us that gravity is holding all the air in, but the air is being contained somehow by a physical barrier, if you ask me. So yeah, I do have some information if you want to take, because that you could cross-reference, because it is being censored heavily. And
I'll probably good. I do gotta go.
No problem, man.
Hey,
thank you. Appreciate it, man. Have a good one. So I do have. Do you have any questions? Before you go, or?
Not really.
Okay.
Good to go though.
Okay, so here, take this. You could throw it away after if you want, but these are the 6 main proofs. Again, practical proofs that debunk the ball Earth, and there are some links there because it is being censored. If you go on your own, you're not going to be able to find anything genuine. So you could use this to cross-reference. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to believe anything I'm saying, you know, but
Okay, thank you.
appreciate it, man. Thanks for it. All right.